Hello. Gonna get the music going. So, today, I wanted to go over my camera collection. The music might be too loud. One moment. Buttons. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so, as I said, I want to go over my camera collection of what I have so far. Because I have a lot of cameras. Oops. So I'm going to try to go in order from the oldest to the newest. I hope. If I mess up, I'm sorry. Please correct me in the comments if anyone watches this. So, I did not prep. Uno momento, por favor. Oh no, there's a zipper. Camera bag. Where's my zipper? This is what you get for not prepping. Whoops. Alright, we got 1, 2, 3. There's like Santa's bag, it just never ends. I know there's a 4th. Oh, no, come here. Don't be shy. Oh no. It's gonna be shy. See the light. There you are. Got it. Success. Anyways, starting from the oldest that I have, anyways, for right now, it's the old Kodak. I'm drawing a huge blank on the name of it right now. It's not a Vigilant. It's on here. Shush. It's Brownie Voting A2. So, accordion. Oh. Now, most of my cameras, to my knowledge, is in working order. I just haven't put film through them yet, because I haven't gotten it developed. Anyways, the reason why this one's I have to read it. Don't judge. The autographic. Ha! It's because the film that you would put in here would be super thin. And back here, I probably won't be able to do this. Oh, I can. You can open up the back and it would have a stylus that you could write your time and date on the back of it. And it would edge into the film to let a little bit more light through. And that's what would give it the overexposure to actually show it was written. Fun fact there. That I kind of forgot for a second. Whoops. Anyways, this one's the basic one where you have your aperture settings. The aperture is just an iris that opens and closes, pretty much. You won't be able to see it through this camera, because this is my phone. But anyways, you also got your time, your bulb, and an option of 25 seconds and the 50-second shutter. Oh, not 50 second, you know what I mean, 50th of a second. Shh. That's the first. This one came out 1926-ish, so it's pretty old. And as you see, probably, hopefully, baffles are actually in pretty decent condition, so it's a pretty decent working camera. Because the shutter even still works. Wow. 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 Next up, we have the Kodak Vigilant. I kept it in the case. Oops. This one's a senior though. Now I've done a video on the senior and the junior already. I don't know how to link video, so I won't be saying linking up there, so oops. Anyways, this one folds outwards, like so. You don't have to pull it out like you saw with the other one, with the old Browning folding one. I can't get it because of pobs. But anyways, there's a little piece down here that you could pick out. Acts as a stand, pretty much, so it would stay leveled on the surface. I've shown that already too. Anyways, as I've shown on these still work too. This one came out in 1940s. Well, this one 1930s to 1950s-ish. I can't determine the exact year of this one. I want to say it's about 1940s, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this one or the other one, because again, I have already done a video on them. So, oops. The next up is, it's still in the box. The Kodak Vigilant Junior. Again, I'm not going to go into details, because I already have done that once. But, this one is again 1940s. This one I want to say is more of a later 1940s. I don't know the exact date of it. I know I would be able to find it again if I was to look it up, but that's too much work. So I'm just gonna put that one down, since I'm really just showing off my collection right now rather than actually explaining it, but I'm also explaining it apparently. Oops. So these go by the name of spy cameras, even though they're technically not. But I mean, they were never used as an actual spy camera. You could though. It's adorable. It's so adorable. Bite size. Anyways, this one is, I've drawn a huge blank on the name. Mineta. Ha! There's other various copies of this. I don't know which one's the exact original. Came out in the 50s and the 60s, I want to say. It takes a very special film that I haven't been able to find, but I do know the shutter still works. So I mean, there's that. Clickies. Clickies. Funny story with this one. I actually went into an antique store and I saw this little guy. I'm like, oh my god, it's an actual little baby camera. I need it. And I go up to the guy who runs the store. I'm like, hey, can I get this camera? It was in a shelf with a glass door. He had the keys. He's like, oh, that's actually not a camera. I'm like, yeah, it is. He's like, no, that's just a lighter. I'm like, pull it out. I'll show you. He pulls it out. Like, I do this number, little piece right here. This is really hard to do. I show him. That's where the film goes. He's like, oh, wow. That's a camera. I'm like, yeah, that's a camera. So anyways, I got a discount for knowing it was a camera and not a lighter. Fun. But yeah, that's the next on the list. After that, I jumped from the 50s to the 70s with Polaroid. No, it's not a giant Zippo. No, it's not a giant flask. Plug. No, it's a camera. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. But yeah, it's actually a camera. Behold. I'm impressed that worked. I never did that with pause on yet. But this was, I'm drawing a blank on his first name all of a sudden. Edwin? No, it's not Edwin. Land is his last name though, I can say that. I'm gonna get so many corrections to how many ever watched this video now. Oops. But anyways, this is pretty much his pride and joy. And they made 3 different models of it, pretty much, base models. And then they had a sonar model, they had so many different models of it, based on the various models. So they had a main model, sub model, different colors to the models. Fun fact. But yeah, the reason I love this Polaroid the most, it's an SLR, you know, single lens reflex. So this has a giant lens that just pop. Exactly like that, with that noise. I would dry run it, but I already have a fresh cartridge in it right now. But one thing I love about this Polaroid is you can actually manually focus the lens, and it's actually got the distance on the lens. And you can actually look inside and manually focus it too. Now, I've never done this in suits. I don't know how this will go. Oh my god, I can actually focus it. Whoa! So cool! Whoa, it's in focus! Okay, I have to. Then you can also adjust the amount of light that goes through the sensor, because it does have a sensor on it from the 70s to say pretty much how fast it wants the shutter to move. the darker it is on the top of the wheel, the more light that's going into it. So the quicker the shutter, so the darker the exposure. The more light on the top of the wheel means the darker the film in front of the sensor, meaning the longer the shutter. Now that confused the heck out of me at first because I thought more light on the top means more light going to the sensor, but that's the exact opposite. It's more light going to the film. Oops, I wasted so much film. Fun fact about this, you know the whole Polaroid 600s, like the one steps? This doesn't take that, it takes its own special film. It's SX70 film, which is Polaroid SX70, which I don't think I actually said the name of the camera. This is the Polaroid SX70. Oh my gosh, I got off topic. Oh, wow. I'm passionate about this little baby here. Shush. Anyways, difference between that film and the 600 is actually the speed of the film. The SX70 is about 170 speed for the film, while the Polaroid 600 is at 600 ISO or ASA, which is the speed of the film, how much light hits the film and exposes pretty much. So this is a few, probably like 5-6 stops slower than the 600. If you're a photographer, you'll know what that means. I barely know what that means. I'm not much of a photographer. Anyways, let's try this. Let's see. I got this, don't worry. We want about probably there for the exposure. That was long exposure. That's gonna be blurry. We'll see how that turns out here in a second. Anyways, to close this bad boy, you got this little bar over here, sport beam. Push it backwards. Pancake! I got two of these without bringing the other one out of the bag. So, we're gonna see how that exposure comes out at the end of this video. Why am I knife handing? Knife hand! But that's from the 70s. Early to, forever. But this one's probably a mid-70s model. The early 70s had dashes on the lens rather than the numbers, and did not have a prism inside for focusing. It was all off of eye. Anyways, from 70s, we'll go into 80s. Hold on, I'm trying to remember. Now, I do not have the model that comes after the SX70, which is the original one-step that everyone knows, that takes SX70 film still. I have pretty much the 600s now. This one is an old Polaroid Spirit 600. So it takes a 600 film, one-step 600. But this one, unlike most of them that you see where it's, let's see if I can angle this right to camera, to where it's more of a box setting. As you see, this one angles down. It does not have an integrated flash. You have up here for a light bar, which goes with the SX70 as well. I forgot to mention, SX70 does not have a flash on it. You have to get an external flash, blah blah blah. But, yep. Pop! Oh, wait, I didn't pop it right. Pop! I popped it right. So yeah, that's the Spirit. Then, continuing in the 80s, we're going to step away from Polaroid and go to Canon. You throw that there. For Canon, I have the AE1 program. Beautiful little camera, I love it. This was actually the first one I started on that got me into photography. Even though I didn't experience much of it on learning, I learned more of it on what will come up later. This is just what got me huge into photography. This was my dad's, and he decided to give it to me because he noticed I was getting into photography quite a bit. It's a 35mm film, which honestly I'll have to make another video sometime. I found at an antique store. I looked in the back of a camera and there was a roll of film, this one right here, already rolled up, pre-exposed. So I need to take it down to the store, get it developed, and I'll make a video of what's on it. Could be porn, could be something top secret, could just be family. I'm hoping it's just family. I don't want anything else. That'll be scary. Oh boy, so many questions from the government if it's anything else. Whew. Yikes. But anyways, yes, I love this camera. I've got probably 4 different lenses for it because this is a SLR. Same as the first Polaroid, except not as big of a mirror, obviously. And you could actually change the lenses. It's not instant film like the Polaroid. If you guys want any more information on what I'm saying, let me know. I'll go and do more research, and I'll give you more information on that camera that you want to know more of. It's just, this is, like I said, mostly a quick rundown of all the cameras that I own. Which, as you probably see by now, it's a collection. Oops, I'm sorry. So I'm just going to put that off to the side back there. And then we're moving into the 90s now. Hey, 90s, I was born in the 90s. What's up? 90 babies, what's up? Sorry, that was cringe. Won't happen again. Oh, nope, not that one yet. Where did it go? Over here. Unorganized filmmaking. About cameras. Wow. We get into our more well-known one step. Simplistic hunk of plastic, isn't it? This one, as everyone knows, has the flash on it already. Hey, I pointed it in the right spot. What do you know? So, I don't really need to go over this one much since most people know about it. But again, if you want to know more, let me know. I'll do more on it. Wow. Continuing in the 90s, I have a different model of what I just showed you. But weird. Oh god, I hope I have a thing in here. Do I have an exposed already ran cartridge? Oh no, I don't think I do I? Wait. Somewhere on my mess of a bed, I should. Oh no. Why do I do this to myself? Yes! I do! This is a fun one. So, this is... It looks like the same, right? I'm sorry, it's not. As you turn it around, you'll notice a speaker, a dial, a button, and other thingamabobbies. This is a Polaroid Talk. Weird, I know. So let's pop her open. No cartridge in there. So I'll take this spent cartridge, already bad film, oops. Throw her on in. Oh, that's not good. But I'm not here for that. That's actually an SX70 cartridge, so oops. Anyways, let's see if we can do this. I need to remember how to do this. There we go.
Why?
Wow. I just learned. It holds memory for a while. That was a recording of my friend from about, I want to say 9 months ago. It holds recording for a while. I have not had a battery in here in a minute. Alright. Let's go to the other recordings. These are pre-recorded now.
Oh, Samaya, you funny person!
So as you saw in the first one, you can actually pre-record your own recording, which is pretty fun, to say the least. You could cuss someone out without cussing them out. But here's the second pre-recording.
I want you to say, hey, good boy, hey.
And the third pre-recording. You can't change these ones.
Cheese for me, cheese for you, everybody cheese-a-roo!
So loud. But you can really catch someone off guard with that, which makes it fun. That's really the main difference between this one and the Polaroid One Step that you know of. Anyways, we skip from the 90s. I don't have anything from early 2000s, sadly. But I've got newer. So, continuing on with Polaroid. Oops. It's the 1-step plus. Pretty much this one you can pair up with your phone with an app. Do double exposures, longer exposures, set off the shutter in different ways with sound, light, timed, all that fun stuff with the app. It does work with iOS and Android, so hey, cool. And it's more or less an old style with a few minor updates. For example, instead of having a counter on the back like you would on most Polaroids, or this model would be on the side, this one has a counter on the top and LED lights. You still have your red button for the shutter. You can actually turn off your flash now, rather than having to hit the second knob only without the flash. You have your close-up up here instead of a slidey doodad like on the Polaroid 1-step close-ups. And rather than having a slide-out thingy on the side to release the tray, it's on the front, if I can do it. Hey! So anyways, that goes to that. Now, for my most favorite digital camera that I've owned for a while now, about 1 year I want to say, I've loved it. The Canon M50. Now I got recently an amazing lens on it. It's an aperture of 32mm with an did I say aperture of 32mm? It's a lens size of 32mm, oops, with an aperture of 1.4, meaning a lot more light goes into it, giving a better blurred out background and sharp subject rather than like a kit lens where everything's in focus. Like what you're seeing with my phone, wow, everything's in focus. Ooh, focus. That was lame, I'm sorry. But I've also got an adapter that allows me to use my old lenses from the old Canon on here. I love it. I actually started I started off with this camera using my old lens rather than a new lens, because I love the way that looked more than what I had at the time. Now that I got the 1.4, yeah, 1.4, I use that more now. It's a great lens. And for the sky, I actually don't use this as much as I want to. The first DJI Mavic Pro. It's fun, but I just don't use it much. I don't know why. So anyways, that's more or less my camera collection. I'm not obsessed, I swear. But again, if you want to know anything on any of those cameras in particular, let me know. I'll look it up. I'll do my best to explain it. Hopefully let you know more of it. And yeah, that's it. Alright. Trying to think if I missed anything. I don't think so. So anyways, goodbye, au revoir, adios, serenata, bon voyage. I missed a lot just now. But yeah, bye.